Become the next fantasy football millionaire. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. Go to DraftKings.com now and use promo code ZONE to play free for a shot at $2 million in the Week 1 $10 million Millionaire Maker. That's ZONE for free entry at DraftKings.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio on ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content this morning, please join me in welcoming our featured guest, Paul Chabot, Chabot Securities International, and a whole lot of other stuff. Welcome, Paul.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Glad to have you with us. And I'm going to say hello to Darwin Dominic. It's an inside joke. Good morning, Darwin.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
And Michael's in the house as well.
How you doing?
Glad to have you with us as well. Lisa Lewis is in the house once again.
Good morning.
Glad to have you with us as well. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. That's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team. When it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. September morning or afternoon, whenever it might be that you're listening to us. Gotta just share this one, being that I do and have led a lending team for many, many years, because September, National Mortgage Planners Month. I don't know what that means, but I just thought I would share it with you, especially when you're looking at a Dow Jones Industrial Average to start the month down 362 points. And not very good news coming out of China this morning. And I'm going to share with you just a little insight into the news coming out of China because I can. What the heck? Interest rates, where are they heading? I shared that big story with you yesterday about the pinheads on weekend radio giving you some misleading information, bait and switch information, in my opinion.
You're absolutely useless.
Yeah, they're absolutely useless because the Federal Reserve will not be increasing interest rates at their September meeting. I don't have a direct line to Janet Yellen. She sometimes listens. Obviously, she sometimes does not listen. But why would you want to be increasing interest rates when we've got a market that's like this, an economy that is so weak? Now, I'm going to share this with you because it's really, really simple. The reason the Dow Jones is dropping as it is, and you can look at all the other indices as well. The Dow is down 2.2%, S&P down 2%, NASDAQ down 1.77%, oil down 7.3%. Why is that happening?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Very simple truth. China is reporting that their manufacturing data is weak. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist too often, but if China's reporting that their economy is weak, and we know how China likes to mislead the world, what's really happening over there? Right? I mean, they manipulate everything. Have you ever been to China? I have. Pretty interesting place. They manipulate everything. They only let out the news that they want told. So if they're telling us that their economy is weak and not doing as expected, how bad is it really doing? We don't know that answer. We can look at our own Institute of Supply Management number. That activity fell to 51.1. Does that number mean anything to you? Doesn't mean anything to me. But I can tell you this, a number over 50 means that we are expanding. A number under 50 means that we are not expanding in the U.S. And I can tell you this, that the people who get paid to know what they're talking about, I don't know that they do know what they're talking about. They just get paid to know what they're talking about. They were expecting a higher number. They might be listening to the Obama administration. That might be they're getting their bad information.
So I know whose ass to kick.
Absolutely. That's exactly it. So our economy is not doing well. Our labor market is not doing well. Yes, I know we're getting the labor numbers coming out on Friday. They're going to give you some more misleading information. They will be reporting what the U3 number is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They will probably not report what the U6 number is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's the number that has some meaning when you've got an administration that promotes part-time workers. U6, that will tell you the number of people who are unemployed or underemployed. That number is closer to 11% than the 5.3% U3 number that we're going to hear from the administration on Friday. It doesn't matter what number they come out with, it stinks. That's the bottom line of it, right there.
It is what it is.
Absolutely, it is what it is. It's not good. So why would the Federal Reserve increase interest rates? They will not increase interest rates. I'm going to tell you one better. They won't increase them this entire year. We'll be looking at next year. There's one and only one reason that they would increase interest rates. And that would be just to prove a point for their own egos to say, we said we were going to do it. We don't want to let you down, so we're going to do it, and we're going to see how well we can get our economy into recession. That might be the only reason that they would do it. Just saying. That's just one person's opinion, but hey, we right most of the time. Gas prices here in the state of confusion. Yes, we are at $3.33 a gallon, while the rest of the country is at $2.48 a gallon. Gas price, the oil price is down $3.60 a barrel right now. I wonder if our legislatures can vote for some more taxes on gas, being that we're only about 90 cents higher than the rest of the country. You gotta love it. You can't make this stuff up here in the state of confusion. Speaking of the state of confusion, I did get into an interesting dialogue last night on some of our Facebook pages. Ron Siegel Radio, there's about 33,000, 35,000 people on there at any given time. And we were chatting a little bit about this high-speed rail that we want to put into the state of confusion. Now, I understand even more reason why we're looking at doing that here in the state of confusion, just because we want to put in a railroad from someplace nobody wants to be going to someplace nobody wants to go. Now, why we want to spend $100 billion to do that is well above my pay grade. I can't figure that out. When I just gave you the reasons why we shouldn't even be talking about the Olympics in Los Angeles, I gave you the other day places where we could spend that $4.6 billion, a lot better than the how many ever billions that we're going to talk about on that. But check this one out. I haven't heard anybody reporting this. Yeah, but it was from our friends in the San Diego Union Tribune. They're talking about the state's bullet train project that's supposed to begin February 11th, or there's another round of litigation, I should say, February 11th in Sacramento. Superior Court Judge Michael Kenney will preside over a non-jury trial in which Kings County homeowner Aaron Fukuda and farmer John Toss, don't know who Farmer John is, but that's just a different story. They're going to argue that the project should be blocked on grounds that it doesn't honor the requirements of Proposition 1A, the 2008 state bond measure that provided $9.95 billion in seed money for the project. Here's what the contention is. Don't know how far they're going to go. Plaintiffs contend that the train can't possibly operate without illegal taxpayer subsidies, and that trips from San Francisco to Los Angeles in the mandated 2 hours and 40 minutes are not feasible.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Yeah, well, the governor told us you don't tell the truth to get elected. You tell people what they want to hear to get elected, and then do whatever you want after the fact. So the attorneys are very confident, citing many ways that what the California High-Speed Rail Authority wants to do is at odds with what voters were promised in 2008 And apparently there is a Supreme Court ruling that is some sort of a precedence for this. And again, I am not a lawyer. I don't even play one on TV. So it's going to be interesting to see if they get the injunction on this high-speed rail, again, going from someplace that nobody wants to be to someplace nobody wants to go. Unbelievable that we're going to spend that much money. $9 billion. Can you imagine $9 billion is just the seed money? They're not even talking about the full amount of money that it's going to take to build the thing, which I guess is already 3 times what the original budget was. State of confusion, a lot of fun. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, Paul Chabot is in the house, and we're going to chat with him. We got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to have to shut up here pretty quick. My wife might be listening, and she might not even want me to talk about the 15,315 people that voted in housing yesterday, and they've got the only votes that count. How to build a great credit score, that's coming up. And what's happening in that Boomerang market? You can reach me anytime. Call our off-air easy for me to say. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
In these uncertain times, it's getting harder and harder to find a safe and effective method of investing. If you're looking at retirement options that can provide some real security for you and your family, look no further than a reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team. Hundreds of thousands of other Americans are already taking advantage of reverse mortgages. It allows you to eliminate monthly mortgage payments, pay some bills, or simply enjoy your retirement more. A government-insured reverse mortgage with Siegel Lending Team allows seniors to stay in their home and turn their equity into tax-free cash. To qualify, there are no credit score requirements, and remember, you continue to retain complete ownership of your home. Call 1-800-306-1990 to receive a new special edition handbook, Feature Reverse Mortgage Borrowers, plus an educational brochure absolutely free. Find out more. Call Siegel Lending Team today, 1-800-306-1990. SiegelLendingTeam.com, that's SIEGEL lendingteam.com, or 1-800-306-1990.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Mortgage Minute today brought to you by Commerce for a Cause. I love this organization. If you take credit cards, if you pay a credit card processing fee, which you generally do if you take credit cards for your business, Commerce for a Cause, they'll match the fee and then give you a 20% rebate to the non-profit organization of your choice. That's why I like it, is even if they didn't match the fee, giving 20% of that fee back to the nonprofit of your choice, to me, I like that idea. Once humbled in the real estate market, Boomerang buyers are poised to return with a roar. I should have some sort of a roar sound effect on here, but I don't. Damn! As close as I could get. So think about this. 7 years after the real estate bust in the U.S., many people lost their homes. Now they've rebuilt their credit. They're jumping back into the market. They are referred to as Boomerang buyers. Someone's going to have to explain that Boomerang stuff to me because, I'm not very athletic at all. 700,000 of the 7.3 million homeowners who went through foreclosures, short sales during the bust have the potential to get a mortgage this year. Think about that. I also shared with you just yesterday the report that I heard that we've got 92% occupancy in our rental market right now. 92%. That means there's basically no rentals available because there's always going to be that percentage of people that are moving, so the properties are getting rehabbed. So think about that. If there is 700,000 people ready to come back into the market, and we know that we sell about 15,000 homes a day, that might be a little extra demand if you went to Chapman University, or Paul, in your case, over USC. They don't teach this at UCLA. Economics 101 is not taught at UCLA. The law of supply and demand probably is not taught there either.
It is what it is.
Sorry about my friends from that blue school. Blue is their mood, I think, right? Just saying. Okay, so supply and demand means that we should have an increase in housing prices as long as we can keep the Federal Reserve out of the way, keep interest rates low. That should be a good sign for our marketplace. If you need help buying or selling a home, give me a call. I'll put you in touch with a professional that can help you. Yes, I have a license to do it. I don't do it. I introduce people to do that stuff. That is the Mortgage Minute today, again brought to you by Commerce for a Cause. Gotta love that organization. So today we're gonna chat a little bit with Paul Chabot. Welcome.
Thanks, great to be here. I appreciate it and great update. I learned a lot right there in your 15 minutes of fame.
Everybody gets their 15 minutes of fame, right? And I only get my 15 minutes of fame because of inflation is now cut down to 9 minutes.
Wow.
So we have that 9-minute segment. But, I look at your background, Paul, and I can't even, I've got you by 10, 12, 13 years, something like that. And I'm looking at just the first paragraph. Chabot Strategies, Chabot Securities, Office of Naval Intelligence, Defense Intelligence, Joint Chiefs of Staff, working on that in the Military Command Center. Holy cow. And then you're also in Iraq. 20 years of law enforcement.
Yes, I know. One of the first.
Are you tired? I mean, holy cow! We have to get an alarm clock in here.
A lot of what we do, and we got a great team. In Chabot Securities and Strategies, and the work that we do. I've just been blessed. There's some great opportunities that have come my way. I was raised by 2 single parents, a single grandmother, a single mother who had tough times, and they just taught me to keep my feet moving despite obstacles, and they were a great role model for me. And I'd say most of what I probably do is volunteer. We do make ends meet. My wife and I have 4 young kids. We love this country.
We know what else you do then with 4 young kids. Run around a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Chasing.
Absolutely.
I don't know what you were thinking there. I don't know what you were thinking. I'm talking just about being a parent, and Paul's in his early 40s, so he's got not having old kids, obviously. Chasing kids.
Ours are young. Ours are 8, 6, 5, and 2. So, yeah.
You are busy.
Well, yeah, and God bless my wife. She's amazing.
You know something? I'm glad. I always like hearing people say that because I say the same thing. I mean, you got the easy job, right? You get to go out and talk to. Well, maybe talking to me is not the easy job, but going out and doing work every day, that's the easy stuff. Raising kids and being the role model for kids, that's tough work.
Well, it's critical. And you mentioned being a role model. I think that is so important in today's society. We have a lot of kids today. We look at the numbers you said earlier are very concerning. We've got about 1 million more people now living in poverty than we had prior to 2008.
I wonder why that would be.
So I know whose ass to kick.
Yeah. Our country's hurting. We're not seeing this major recovery as people we're told we're going to happen. Many people are working multiple jobs just to make ends meet. And to me, it comes back to the kids. You know, I mean, we should be living in a very traditional society where parents are able, to work, earn a good living, but spend time with their kids to raise them. And right now, kids are missing out on that opportunity because parents have to work 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet today. And
something, that's the whole thing right there. If we had a great economy, we don't, and I haven't even got into the political side with you, Paul, but my personal opinion is, the minimum wage thing is just a farce, right? I don't want, if you really think about it, even when they talk about the loons in Los Angeles at $15 an hour, or the people that got laid off in Seattle because they had that $15 an hour minimum wage, just quick math, $15 an hour, 2,000 hours a year, $30,000, you can't live on that. So it doesn't work. The idea is to create an economy like they did in North Dakota, South Dakota, where McDonald's can't even find people at $15 an hour because people have great jobs.
Right.
Right? If we can get everybody earning $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $100,000, exactly what you said happens.
And it's critical. I think, I started off, my very first job, I was 10 years old as a paper boy. And I loved it. I had 3 paper routes, excelled my way, not making a lot of money. But then in college, I was making $4.25 an hour as a telemarketer on the phones promoting the university. Worked a night shift at a hotel doing check-ins, and that was minimum wage. But these were jobs that helped me get other jobs to continue to move up. And I think that's where we have to look at minimum wage jobs. That it is not the end state, nor should it be for the American dream, but it is a place to get your foot in the door for the experience, so you can get that better job down the road.
Couldn't say it better myself. Now I know why you do all the things you do at this age and I don't. You can articulate these things so much better. I mean, because that's really the truth. I mean, I don't care that whether my son, I have, one of my sons, it doesn't matter to me if he works for $2 an hour. Get experience, get the work ethic. You're talking about being raised by 2 single people. They had to have taught you the work ethic. Keep moving, keep studying. I mean, great school, great education. Look at all the things you've done at 41 years old.
Yeah, and school and education, I mean, it's just part of it. Not everybody has to go to college to, be successful. My grandmother worked 30 years in the Pittsburgh steel mills. Her 7 brothers went off to World War II and fought and came home and then reintegrated into society. What I worry about on top of this as a military vet myself is here in California, Southern California, we have one of the largest concentrations of military veterans anywhere in the world. And yet our veterans have some of the highest unemployment rates, highest suicide rates. 1 in 5 coming back from Afghanistan, other wars, are dealing with PTSD. Our VA system is completely broken. And so we have an incredible segment of our society that research shows us can be some of your most loyal, hardworking folks to get them in the workforce, but they're falling through the cracks right now. And I have a lot of concern about this generation of military, which is so big across this country, that is unable, after fighting for our country, to achieve the American dream.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. Obviously, we talked a lot yesterday, and we'll continue talking a lot about the event coming up, Solutions for Change, an evening to remember for our American heroes. And we've also talked about, with Ryan Ostison coming in, talking about finding homes for veterans. They've got the VA home vouchers.
Sure.
And the feeling is, and I think you'll probably share in this vision, Paul, is not about getting the veterans on a home voucher, because that's just step one. It's helping them with a game plan to get the job, get the credit, get the house, the whole American dream.
But the whole system's broken. I've been through it. I've seen veterans through it. There are good programs on paper, but it's the process. We talk about VOC rehabilitation, helping our veterans who are disabled, injured, go through work training to get them back up to speed. It's a wonderful program on paper, but it's run by a bureaucratic system that cannot handle the intake, very unresponsive. On my YouTube page, I have a veteran who video recorded his phone trying to get through and being transferred, disconnected. And many veterans just get fed up and don't bother again. So it's good that there are programs out there. We obviously have the VA, we got the Cal Vet loan, and for our disabled vets, out there is a automatic grant that they can use right away to remod their home for to get into their bathrooms, new tubs if they're in a wheelchair. And the thing is, when we talk to vets, most of them have no idea about these programs, but when they do pursue them, they're hitting so much bureaucratic red tape, it's very difficult for them to move through, and they just get fed up.
It's a shame that that's the case, and I'm glad that you're bringing it up, because that way we can all get behind some sort of a process where we can centralize, not government centralized, but a person, myself or somebody like that can say, call us as a quarterback.
Sure.
And then we can call you and say, whose rear end do we need to kick so we can get answers for this person, because he earned it, he deserves it. We're going to talk more about that when we come back. I get obviously a little passionate about this. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. More with Paul Chabot when we get back, what he's looking to do, how he's looking to do it, how he's looking to make a difference in the next steps after all the things he's already done. You can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. If you miss any part of our broadcast, all you need to do is go to Ron Siegel Radio in the archives or on YouTube. The video will be there. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,985. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 4.75% APR, 4.812% of that payment could support a $375,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,985 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's $61,000 worth of home that you're missing out on by waiting. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 6066 and 217037.
Southern California attorneys have over 15,000 real estate agents to call in Orange County for their personal and professional needs. Why do they overwhelmingly call Melinda Johnson? Simple. It's the Melinda Johnson trifecta. Melinda is an attorney, real estate broker, and realtor. Does your family deserve the same professional services California lawyers demand? Call Melinda Johnson at 714-863-5485. That's 714-863-5485. Or on the web at freedomfirstproperties.com.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message as your consumer advocate. I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Okay, so I'm going to give you the results. Some people want to know how I know the results of this election. 15,315 people voted. Kind of an interesting election because sometimes you don't even get that many people voting. This is a state of confusion. Only 42% of us vote here. It's bad to say when Oregon gets 69% vote and we get 42, but that's the way it is. Real-time real estate segment brought to you by the VIP Hero program. Another one of those programs that we got to get behind, VIPHero.com, $5,000 to $10,000 in rebates if you qualify as one of our heroes in a real estate transaction. That would be military, first responders, nurses, teachers, a lot of folks that qualify. If you want to find out if you qualify, VIPHero.com. So here's the results. 15,315 people voted. If your house is for sale, they said your house is priced too high, or they don't like it. And the reason I know that is because 15,315 homes sold yesterday. If yours is not one of them, there was a statement made. There will be 15,315 sold today and tomorrow. That's the average number of homes that sell each and every day in this country. So what that tells you is if yours is not one of them, why is it? Is it that you're priced too high, so nobody likes your house, which means you're priced too high? Because every property will sell at a price. Even in Detroit, they sell them for $100, but they still sell. So think about that. The National Association of Realtors says that we've got a 4.8 month supply of inventory housing available. 6 months is considered normal for a normalized market. So the bottom line, if you want to sell your house, take action. I don't know anybody that wants to have a house listed for sale. I've never seen somebody that came to me and said, Ron, I want you to list my house or help me find somebody to list my house. And I don't want them to sell it. I just want them to list it. It's just not the way it works. They want them sold, and you need great advice for that. Give me a call. I will put you in touch with somebody that can help you. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again, brought to you by the VIP Hero program. Continuing our conversation with Paul Chabot. Paul's done a whole lot of stuff. Chabot Strategies, Chabot Strategies and Securities. What's the difference?
Yes, so Strategies does more counterterrorism consulting for law enforcement, military around the country. We've done a lot of border work. I've got a book out called Eternal Battle Against Evil. It talks about a strategy on how to dismantle terror networks, drug cartels, organized crime, sophisticated prison gangs. But the other portion of the organization, Chabot Securities.
But before you go to that part, Paul, we got to tell people. I mean, I could write a book and it wouldn't mean squat.
Sure.
Our audience may not have the knowledge when we look at your background. I mean, you worked in the White House with the Clinton administration and the Bush administration. So your background means people you should listen.
Well, I've had good mentors, General Barry McCaffrey in the Drug Czar's office under the Clinton administration, 4-star general, Purple Heart, great leader, and then John Walters, the then Drug Czar under President Bush. The purpose of the book, based on my dissertation work, which was on how to essentially tear apart drug cartels. And when you look at them, they're Fortune 500 companies, extremely resilient, always preparing for failure. And so what I wanted to do was look at these organizations and figure how could we better dismantle these organizations. And when I went boots on the ground in Iraq, we saw Iraq going to hell prior to the surge. Al-Qaeda was incredibly strong, paying their foreign fighters $190 a month. But when the strategy in Iraq through the surge was successful, it was successful because in many ways, General Petraeus did a great job, but we also went after the money. And when you shrunk the money, Al-Qaeda could no longer pay their foreign fighters. Their foreign fighters weren't fighting for Allah. They went home. And so Al-Qaeda shrunk by 90% and made tremendous headway. The same can be said for any other sophisticated criminal network that we're dealing with. It's about the money. And so that's the Chabot strategy side of that. The security side of what we do, we are a licensed PI organization based here in California but travel internationally, and we take on more high-profile cases, but we also do a lot of cybersecurity, which is big for small and large businesses.
I think Hillary Clinton needs some help from you, if you would, please.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, I mean, this is a rocket scientist, but you look at what she did, and my background, I've got top secret SCI clearance. You know, it's a no-brainer. What she did was absolutely embarrassing to the intelligence community because she knew better. And what she did makes us all look bad.
Well, you know something, I don't know all that kind of stuff, but, you know, just listening, right? I mean, either she knew better or she's too stupid to be running the country. Yeah. And I'm not sure which it is, but it's got to be one of those two. I'm not that smart.
Well, she knew better, and the 150 new emails came out yesterday, 150 more that had classified information. It's cut and dry. It's black and white. It's real simple. General Petraeus, unfortunately, got his hand slapped for something similar to what Hillary Clinton has done, but she's done it to the 150th degree over and over and over again. And obviously, I have great concerns about if she is to go forward with this without some kind of action taken by the government, then it sends a horrible signal to the intelligence community for the ordinary average person who has TSSCI clearance, working in our military, our DIA, CIA, who like her were read in and know the basics of intelligence. It's very, very clear cut.
And unfortunately, I mean, again, I'm just going to share my opinion of it, is that it's a quid pro quo system going on right now. The only reason that she hasn't been indicted is because I think the president's worried about what she might say if indicted. So he doesn't want the Justice Department to indict her.
Yep. Let me just say, if this happened to an ordinary average person, you know, myself or anybody else, we would lose our security clearance like that, on hold, and then worse things happening. So for her to see this drip continuously in the press of new emails released from the State Department and no action taken, those are all of us rank and file watching it, just shake our heads and go, wow, unbelievable.
It's scary because you wonder where the law is in the country anymore, right? I mean, we're supposed to be a country of laws, and I chuckle sometimes when we say that when we hear the presidents and some of the people I debate online, their comments, well, the Republicans are doing nothing. Well, that's part of our system, right? Doing nothing is actually an action.
Yes,
right? I mean,
sometimes doing nothing is better than doing something, because that something here in California has been higher taxes, higher regulations, higher many things which have hurt our working families, hurt our businesses. As you mentioned, our gas prices are out of control, 90 cents plus more per gallon than other states. And so doing nothing is better than doing some things, especially when those some things are an extreme agenda that hurt the ordinary average working family.
Unbelievable. So tell us, what's your thoughts about the expansion? I've come out and I've gotten chastised a little bit about this. Not about me being Jewish, but obviously that's pretty common knowledge. And I've said that right now, in my opinion, what I see going on in the Middle East and with ISIS is very reminiscent of probably about 1937, 1938.
Bingo.
Right? Am I on the right track?
You are on the right track, and we need to be talking about this louder. So let's talk about ISIS. ISIS now is in about 16 countries and growing. They have their caliphate in the Middle East, which is their homeland, killing Christians and anybody else that they can get their hands on, destroying historical artifacts that have been around since basically the beginning of human time. But then on top of that, you have an administration right now that has negotiated with Iran, that blew up a mock U.S. carrier in the Persian Gulf just a few months ago, that chants death to Israel, death to America. And what we have done essentially has guaranteed that Iran is going to have a nuclear bomb in 8 to 15 years. Look, they're not going to abide by the sanctions. They never do. This administration basically wanted any deal. It didn't matter. And this deal is so bad. Look, we're going to give them $150 billion back in cash, liquid cash. Their annual GDP is about $369 billion. They already spent a good chunk of that on terrorism across the region. They have just under 1 million troops, over 2,500 tanks, 12 subs. I mean, you name it. They are growing their military. They're going to buy technology now from China. They're going to buy technology from Russia. And they are the third most active nation at ballistic missile testing. This is a train wreck. And here's what I tell people. We didn't want to come home from Iraq. We wanted to finish that job because we were winning when we were there. This president lost that war, lost Iraq, has now lost the Middle East, almost a guarantee that my 4 young kids are going to have to go forward to finish a job that we should have finished.
You know something, I appreciate exactly what you just said there, because I mean, being the warrior, and you know, a lot of us can only speak from gratitude. We can't speak from experience. But saying that, you know, you wanted to finish that job, not for the publicity or for anything else, so that your kids don't have to go do it.
Oh, absolutely. Look, when we were there, I was there during the surge, and yeah, we didn't, you know, we were all scared. I mean, to say we're not scared is not being truthful. But what we saw was tremendous progress. We were working with a local Iraqi people that loved us. We saw the Sons of Iraq SOI program, 100,000 local Iraqis rising up, taking back their communities from Baghdad, Fallujah, Mosul, and we were just doing great things across the board, and it was amazing. So for us now to sit back in this country as veterans, all of us, to watch all those gains, you know, for naught. And then on top of that, to see a nation like Iran that is directly responsible for 1,500 plus American deaths because they brought in the IED technology, the IEDs that killed our troops with those roadside bombs, to now credit this Iranian regime that wants nothing to do with peace with Israel or the U.S. is just an abomination. And it is going down in history, I think, as one of the major mistakes of the free world to do what we're doing right now.
You know, so I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, we didn't obviously chat about this getting ready for our broadcast today, but holy cow, it seems to me so clear cut. And you hear about this, that, you know, I hear some people talking to me about the idea that there was a coalition of countries. Well, how do you even think about a coalition when China and Russia are part of it? Right. I mean, they've never been on our side looking for anything, and just amazing. We're going to chat more with Paul Chabot when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We're going to talk about Paul's tour, what Paul's up to now, maybe even running for office. Is that what's on the docket? We'll see. September 11th around the corner. What's it like to be in Washington, D.C.? I know what it was like to be right across the river in New York. So we'll find out about the D.C. aspect of it from Paul. You can reach me anytime at our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter at Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few. I love Solutions for Change. They're dedicated to solving family homelessness, one family, one community at a time. They do beautiful work, truly changing lives. They're a big event of the year. It's the 5th annual gala, an evening to remember with our American heroes, Saturday, September 19th in the Jet Source hangar at the Carlsbad Airport. It's going to be awesome. Taya Kyle, author and widow of Chris Kyle from American Sniper, is going to be the main speaker. Joining Taya will be Navy SEAL and former pro football player Clint Bruce, and I have the honor of attending the festivities as well. Jeffrey Strauss from Pamplemousse Grill will be catering the evening. There's going to be a hosted craft cocktail reception, live entertainment, silent and live auction, all to raise money for Solutions for Change. Tickets are available. Please grab them as soon as possible. I'd love to see you there. 760-941-6545. That's 760-941-6545, or solutionsforchange.org.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage. and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
The UPS Store. Get a better mailbox at your locally owned The UPS Store, your one-stop shop for all your small business needs. Visit theupsstore.com to find a location in your neighborhood.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Going to race through two topics we've got to do to keep our sponsors happy, but I don't really want to talk about them right now. Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Get your credit report fixed. Go to CreditSanitizer.com, and you can build a great credit score from scratch. Listen to me tomorrow. I will tell you how to do it. CreditSanitizer.com, Your Credit Matters segment. That was quick. Next one, Featured Home. This one is brought to us by Angiie Weeks. Interesting. 15 Hinterland in Ladera Ranch. It's one of the fun ones. I like to always kid our real estate community about these, even though just because I can. What the heck? Angie's got this property. It's a $424,900 home. Yeah, FHA, you can buy that with a $1,962 payment. Be a little bit less if you're a veteran because there are VA loans with no down payment. I love that program for that reason. 2 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, 1 half bathroom. So if you only have to go to the bathroom halfway, you're okay because there is a half of a bathroom. Live life. Darwin, that's for you right there, bud. Half a bathroom. I can't even fit in half a bathroom, so I don't know about that. Open living, dining room, fireplace, custom built-ins, beautiful master bedroom and bath on level 2, guest bedroom, home office, pre-wired and waiting for you on level 3. Great for a guy with bad knees. Tranquil balcony. I love got some tranquil music to go in the background. If you want more information on our featured home, give me a call. I'll put you in touch with Angiie Weeks, 15 Hinterland, $424,900. If you want to finance the property, VA loan, FHA loan, minimal down payment with no mortgage insurance, any of those different products, give me a call. I'll put you in touch with some of our friends over at VIP Mortgage. They will help you with that part. That is our featured home today. Back to our conversation with Paul Chabot. So now that you've done all these things, Paul, and you've been sitting there resting on your laurels in the first 41 years of your life, haven't got anything on the bio, which we'll post that right there on Ron Siegel Radio on Facebook. Now you're going to run for Congress.
Yeah, we are running for Congress full steam ahead in the 31st District of California. This seat is a #1 target for the National Republican Congressional Committee to win back in 2016. Look, in California, we lost all congressional races where we had a Republican facing a Democrat incumbent. So we've got a lot of work to do here in California. I think it's very easy for us to win if we are fighting and not resting, and if we're talking about the values, about jobs, family, community, education, the high rates of crime that are skyrocketing, the world which is becoming less safe. So this seat is critical here to California. We want to show others about how we can win back a seat that leans slightly Democrat. We have a number of Democrats supporting our race. One of the largest concentrations of military veterans lives in the 31st Congressional District, and we're going to be happy to represent it in Washington in 2016.
Boy, that'll be great. It'd be refreshing to see somebody that's going out, and obviously I've known you a long time. Obviously, I have not, But just our chat, I mean, when you really think about it, somebody that's coming out authentic and not the typical, I do get the opportunity of speaking to a lot of politicians. You can tell them usually a mile away. But somebody that's authentic, that's been there, that's done it, not just talking about the hypotheticals. That's the big difference when I'm sitting here chatting with you. I mean, the knowledge of how to break up the drug rings, the knowledge and the background on how to deal with ISIS, not going through this BS that the Iraqis didn't want a status of forces agreement. I mean, you're telling us from firsthand experience, you were there,
yes,
that they liked having our presence.
Loved it, and they worked with us. They loved it. The local kids, the families, the communities. It was amazing, and that's why it's heartbreaking to see what it is today.
Got to ask you, I mean, I know I still get the chills. I remember September 11th like it was yesterday. I was actually at some trainings for Merrill Lynch. I was right across the river in Princeton when the buildings went down. The next morning I ended up having breakfast with some of the young kids that were in the One World Trade or One Financial right across the street, and talking to them about body parts coming out of windows and things that they saw. And I made a phone call at about 6:30 in the morning to my family because they were back here in Southern California. And I said to my wife, keep the kids home. Don't let anybody out of the house. And she said, why? You're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. She says that often. But it was a different sense of feeling being right, where you could actually see what was going on.
Sure.
Tell me about it from a Washington perspective.
It was very unreal. It started off as a beautiful fall morning in D.C., crystal clear, beautiful blue skies. Went in the office, and we're just watching one of the big TVs in the conference room. There was a fire. What we thought was just a fire in a tall, high-rise building, and nothing of it. And then I walked back a few minutes later, and then we saw that other plane hit into it. And then we all realized at that moment that this was no accident. And then everything from that point forward really just kind of spun out of control in Washington. There were notices to vacate the White House premises, a number of the federal buildings, the U.S. Capitol. And I remember going down to a street corner, and it was the eeriest thing. If you remember the movie, it was in the 1980s, I think it was The Last Day, maybe I have it wrong. It was about a nuclear holocaust where people are just trying to get out of town and they're locked down the freeways. That's how Washington was. First off, everybody was gridlocked in the city. Everybody was a little panicked, and there are people huddled around other people with radios on the street corners in D.C. What I could see was smoke coming across the National Mall. There were reports that the Capitol had been hit, which was false. But I just joined the Navy a few months prior to that, and we learned that the Pentagon had gotten hit. And I worked in the Pentagon as a reservist on the weekends, and I had friends from my office who went to the Pentagon that morning. So obviously, I'm in a state, how are my colleagues doing? What's going on in this country? D.C. is paralyzed. I mean, we're talking paralyzed. But, from that, I think what was remarkable is, for the first time in a long time, and we haven't seen it since, is how unified America was. And unfortunately, we've sort of forgotten that, like that old country song that came out. And I think that is where we should be every single day in America if we want to make America really the greatest nation on earth, because right now we've got a lot of work to do.
Something, and I like the way you put that, it's a we issue. It's not a matter of, just the people in Washington. It's the whole country to stand up and really just say, I made this comment last week on Monday, and I was really disappointed. I'm generally disappointed in a lot of our leadership, but even the candidates. When you have a stock market that goes down almost 1,100 points at the open, there's a lot of people that are scared. We've got a lot of seniors in this country, and they don't know, you're young, I'm a little older, but we've got time on our hands to rebuild if we need to. Seniors, when they see a stock market drop 1,100 points, they wonder how are they going to eat next month.
Sure.
And you have the president coming out and his puppet there, Josh Earnest, coming out saying, well, it's the Republicans' fault. And then you hear Trump saying it's China's fault. That's not what we want to hear. Right, we want to hear that, just what you just said, the unification message. Hey, something, we're Americans. We're going to stand up and we're going to be tall and we're going to get back to back and work through it.
Yep, absolutely. I think, when we talk to families, especially here in Southern California in this district, and it's regardless of party, people are concerned about the future on a number of different levels. Obviously, jobs, economy are big, but crime is on the rise. Not only simple crime, but violent crime in major cities. You look at LA out here, murders, gangs. So we have a lot of a perfect storm, if you will, that really needs leadership, not only in Washington, but at the state and local level to address these issues. What I worry about is the human nature of this thing called incrementalism, where these little changes happen over time, and they add up to a big change over, say, 10 years, but all of a sudden we as a society have accepted this new normal, when we shouldn't. I mean, America is and shall be and should always be the strongest nation on earth with the best military to keep the peace. I mean, we are the beacon, but it comes back to our kids. I tell people the reason I'm running is I got 4 young kids. It's simple. What kind of community or country are we going to hand them? I love them. I want to make sure they have a stronger nation handed off to them than the one right now. It's not. We got a lot of work to do.
And one of the candidates, and I'm not promoting any candidate, but one of the presidential candidates has come out, and I love his message, and I think that you'll probably agree. I'll ask you. His message was the ideal military is to have the strongest military in the world. Yep. So we don't have to use it.
That's absolutely the way. Look, none of us, there's some far crazy people out there who think us in the military, like fighting and going out. Let me tell you something. The hardest thing to do is to leave your wife behind who's pregnant with your 6-month-old daughter. But we do it in the military because we love this country, want to keep it safe. Every one of us in the military wants a peaceful world. But unfortunately, in this world, there's good and evil. And we just can't put our heads in the sand. As we're doing right now, we've shrunk our military to pre-World War II levels. We have this mess in Ukraine. Russia, the Cold War is back. We have China growing their Pacific fleet, going to outflank us in the next 10 years, building islands in the South Pacific Sea. And then we have this mess with Iran, with ISIS. Look, America must have the strongest military so that we can make sure that the world is peaceful. And we've got to get back to that.
Great message. I appreciate you coming in. Hopefully you'll come back again and keep us updated on your progress in this race for the 31st District, United States Congress. We need people like you. We need more people like you. And thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
And we really want to make sure that you set your first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. A special thanks to all of our sponsors. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember my mantra, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
ESPN 700 AM Tekatif Batalikama.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1700.
You're listening to Guy Talk live from the Sport